Fight fans have been waiting for this. It's been a year since the last time we saw Khamzat Chimaev. Let's not forget how dominant the man is. When he gets his hands on you, it's tough to get away from it. Of course, he has a significant edge in ground strikes and then in control time, more than 23 minutes to just 10 seconds to that of his opponent. He's gone the distance in each of his last two fights. Those were 3-round bouts against Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. Dean Thomas, I'll start with you. Scheduled for 5 rounds if they need it against a former champ, Robert Whittaker. What do you think?
Yeah, so one thing I got to say is, like, cardio is like this blanket statement that we use. And we often think, oh, you either have it or you don't. All fighters have it. But more so than cardio, there's a direct relationship between your cardio and the pace that you keep. Khamzat Chimaev fights at a very fast pace, in which he's most effective when he's fighting at a fast pace. And if he fights at that pace, he cannot go 5 rounds at that pace. And so I think that if this is a 5-round fight, he has to slow down. If he has to slow down, he's not going to be the fighter that he always was, that we've always feared. We have to keep that in mind. He's got to be able to do that.
Mike Tyson famously said, if you look for the knockout, you're not going to win a decision. And I think that Chimaev is learning from these fights. Hard wars. Gilbert Burns comes to mind. This last fight with Kamaru Usman. I like this for him. I saw him get tired, sure, but I think every fighter should be tired. I think every fighter should put everything into it. But to Coach Dean's point, he's got to pace himself. I think he's got the ability to do that, knowing that he's going into 5 rounds. I trust that he's well prepared and can make it all 25 minutes.
Chimaev is 13-0, undefeated. Robert Whittaker on the other side, looking to chase down a championship belt again. What kind of position is Robert Whittaker in here?
I think Whittaker has more to lose in this fight. But also, he has an opportunity to beat an up-and-comer, a guy who was on fire when he first got in. A little bit inconsistent lately. I think he was battling some sickness, but he's back. Whittaker wins this fight. He's next in line. He puts himself at the short list for the middleweight title.
I like where Whittaker's at here. I mean, if you go back and watch this Paul Acosta fight, that was exactly what I wanted to see for a guy like Robert Whittaker. Being in a tough fight, being able to pull it out, win in a very close decision. And now we see a different guy. Like, we've seen him kind of have some up and downs maybe mentally, but we see a guy who said, I am going to hunt Khamzat. And that's the type of fighter that I want to see when you talk about Robert Whittaker, one who's motivated to hunt.
All right, let's get some predictions. We're going to go top 2 co-main event. These predictions brought to you by Cuervo. Starting that co-main event at middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev, is he still undefeated after this weekend, or does Robert Whittaker?
I believe that he is. I believe Chimaev has enough to get it done with the control faction of this. Now, I also must add for you, I'm not willing to concede that as it turns into a kickboxing fight, that Chimaev doesn't have the tools necessary. He's not as clean, he's not as dynamic as Whittaker, but he is a brawler, and I think it's going to come in handy.
I think that his striking will have to be a big factor if he wants to contend with Robert Whittaker, because I think there's going to be moments where he can't get it down. But I'm going with Robert Whittaker by knockout in the 3rd round by head kick.
I'm going Whittaker. I think he's going to get another shot at the belt after this, but the O must go. I think Chimaev is going to have success at the beginning, slow down 3rd, 4th, 5th, and Whittaker's going to pour it on.
Sure. Ilia Topuria is undefeated. He's looking to stay that way. This is the 15th straight 5-round fight for Max Holloway. Who wins the main event?
Max wins this fight. Max should have been the favorite in this contest. I have no idea how Ilia has taken over. I have no idea how a narrative that Max's best days are behind him. He's the reigning BMF champion. But Max is showing a lot of respect to Topuria, so perhaps he knows something I don't. But I am taking Holloway.
Saturday night, the dog's going to be barking. I'm going all underdogs. Max Holloway beats Ilia Topuria. I think he wins by decision, though, but I think he wins.
I like the dog barking thing, by the way.
Hey, every dog has his day. Max at plus money, you got to jump on that. I'm a big Max fan, and I would never bet against him, especially his experience coming into this fight. He has his goal set. I'm picking Max.
And Louisiana won yesterday, by the way, didn't they? Every dog's got his day. Didn't they win yesterday?
I hope so.
Here's the good news. You don't have to wait long for UFC 308. The prelims kick off bright and early, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on E+. Head to espnplus.com/PPV. You don't want to miss the main card. Special early start time at 2 Eastern. The 4 of us will be back with you from ESPN headquarters for the post show. Abu Dhabi gets a huge fight weekend. Enjoy. We'll talk to you after.